June 25th, 2019, I received a notification that JavidX9 released his 50,000 subscriber milestone video. Of course, I had been enjoying his content for quite some time, so I checked it out. In the video, JavidX9 provided two different giveaways for his fans. The first giveaway was of a small $3 game called Cheeky Beetle. The second giveaway was for $50 worth of game assets from www.gamedeveloperstudio.com. All you had to do to enter the giveaway was to finish a sentence and form a joke. I clicked compile and, well, that's how I met your mother. Yeah, so my response to that prompt was to play off the 2005 show, How I Met Your Mother. The joke is that the speaker is telling his kids about their mother, and their mother is a robot. Don't ask me how. I have no clue. It was just a joke. Anyway, I submitted my information to him and promptly forgot about the whole thing. Exactly 7 days later, on July 2nd, I got a friend request on Discord from JavidX9. I was confused and surprised, but instantly accepted the request, of course. I assumed he would message me first, so I left him be until about 5 o'clock in the evening, but he hadn't messaged me. So I went ahead and shot him a quick message. Hey, I got a friend request from you. What's up? Hey man, you won in my prize draw. I cannot be doing that voice. I can't. Hey man, you won in my prize draw. Oh heck yeah, I never win these things. There were two different rewards, right? One random and one for best picked. Which one did I win? You won the big one, $50 asset voucher. Oh dang, that's fantastic. I clicked compile and that's how I met your mother. Made me giggle quite a bit. Yes. Insert voucher here. Sick, thank you so much. No problem, congrats. Wow, I was thinking to myself, this is crazy. I was super excited. With that, I instantly signed up on www.gamedeveloperstudio.com and redeemed my reward to my account. As I was looking through the assets on there, I began to think about it. Recently, I got a job in web development and design and had to start devoting all my time to that. What's worse, I was only about a year deep in teaching myself before and my skills were very mediocre. I hadn't coded in about 3 months. Nevertheless, I made a vow to take this $50 for the asset store and come out with a full game to bring back to JavidX9 in appreciation for his giveaway. I even considered making a YouTube video to cover it, or possibly devlogs to track my work in progress, and, well, that's this. While considering all of these things in my head, I was going through every asset in the store, and yes, all 670 of them. I saved Chrome bookmarks for each asset I liked and began thinking of ideas for my game. At this point, I was considering making some sort of brawling game similar to Super Smash Bros., except with traditional health mechanics maybe. As I was going through the assets, I noticed that I did not like the characters that were designed by this guy very much, but I loved the effects and environmental assets he made. Slowly, my list of links became full of cool spell effects, interesting plants, and various backdrops. So, I decided to turn my game into something a bit more unique. My concept for this game was that 2 players would be spawned into the world. The map would have various collectible resources, and it'd be up to the players, as alchemists, to craft magical tomes with various buffs and effects to annihilate their opponent. On top of that, the player could craft potions for cheaper but temporary effects. Components to craft the most powerful items would be scattered around the farthest reaches of the map, while less powerful items could be made all in a specific area, provided you know what ingredients to use. With limited resources, skilled players could each rush and combat each other, fighting for the pieces they need for their own specific builds. In theory, it sounded great. I went ahead and threw out a bunch of assets that I didn't need for this type of game, and then went ahead and put all the items that I thought I'd want into my cart, and I was $40 over budget. I ended up removing about 3 area creation packs along with as many unnecessary items as I could find, and brought myself down to $7.50 over budget. With everything I could remove taken out, I went ahead and accepted that I'd have to pay for the $7.50 when I needed the assets. After going through the whole asset store about 3 times to figure out what I wanted and what I didn't need, I figured it was time for bed, as it was 5 hours into the morning. I woke up 3 hours later and went to work for the day. After work, I just came home and passed out. The next day, I figured I'd get started on the layout of the game, but due to the project being much bigger and more professional than my previous game projects, I wanted to have a more structured and organized approach. I spent about 4 hours of my free time in the day writing up a game design document template for me to use whenever starting game projects. This gave me a much better idea of the specific mechanics that I wanted in my game, and I assume it will help me keep my work and ideology straight in the future. After building the document template, I began to work on the engine of my game. I plan to write the whole thing entirely in C++ code. To help with my inexperience, I'm following a tutorial by Suraj Sharma until I get the hang of how the SFML graphics library can be used dynamically across classes. I already know most of the standard syntax for SFML due to the last project I did, but I knew that I'd need some help with the abstraction of SFML between classes in C++. Side note to other budding programmers, I used to shy away from using other people's code and felt like it was cheating to use other people's work. I want to tell you that this is not the case. It really helps you learn quicker to work around more experienced coders' work. It will help impose good coding habits upon you and expose you to more complex work that you can observe and learn from, so that you can do it on your own someday. I used to struggle with this, but I knew that I couldn't afford doing that with a project this big. It's very good to learn from others this way, and it will take you 3 times as long to get anything done if you're not looking or asking for help. Away from that, let's get back to my devlog. The next day, I woke up early and filled out my game design document for Alchemist Brawlers. That's what I'm calling the game now. I had work off, but filling out the GDD took all day. I'm absolutely positive that it was worth the time and will aid me in sticking to my central ideas in the future. So now that I have structure, I can begin working on the code these upcoming weeks. The game document looks like this. I don't want to spoil the story of my game, but I'm willing to share a brief description of my game and its mechanics. If you don't mind the game story being spoiled, I'm leaving a link to the game design document in the description so that you can read through the full thing and give me feedback if you want. Furthermore, I'll leave a link to my GDD template in case if you want to use it for your own indie projects. Without further ado, let's get into my game design document. So my game design document starts off with a header and a small mantra. This is basically a 1 to 2 line sentence that you can always look back on and know that this is the core idea of your project. You always have to stick to this idea. So my mantra is, Alchemist Brawlers is a 2D fighter platformer where the Alchemist players go one-on-one against each other by crafting magical items to aid their fight. That is the core idea of my game. Past that, I have a summary, which is just a brief 1-paragraph outline of the general idea, once again, of the game. This should not change very much in development. Underneath that, I'll have the description, which goes a little bit more in-depth on the details outlined in the summary. So, Alchemist Brawlers is a PC game for 1 to 2 players. In Alchemist Brawlers, you are an alchemist who is teleported into a strange dimension by a wizard and gets stripped of all your possessions. The wizard tells you that there is another alchemist here too, and that you must find and defeat them, and only the last alchemist standing will be transported back home. You must then visit various areas of the open world map, overcoming platforming challenges and collecting materials to craft potions, magical tomes, and items. After you kill the other alchemist, the wizard reappears and turns on you. You must face off against him to win the game. There's a hidden ending where you can work with the other alchemists to try and take down the wizard together. The game opening throws you into a strange land with none of your items. When you start Alchemist Brawlers, you'll be greeted with a few splash screens followed by a main menu. When you choose to begin a game shortly after, it will play a cutscene of your player battling against a dark wizard. The wizard casts an elaborate spell that causes a dark purple flash over the screen. When the flash fades, you pick yourself up off the ground and find that all your items are gone. The wizard laughs at you from above for being a puny alchemist who can't do anything without tomes. The wizard says that there's another alchemist he brought here too, and that if you can defeat them, he'll consider bringing you back home. At that, the wizard disappears with another flash of purple. The world map consists of 3 main zones stacked on top of each other. The top area is the Sky Zone. The Sky Zone is a collection of sky islands rich in magical energy and boasting some of the rarest plants and items for crafting. Most of the islands require mobility skills through potions or spell tomes to reach and traverse. Players will not spawn on the sky islands. The middle area is the jungle zone. In the jungle, there are a lot more potion brewing items, such as plants and bugs. The jungle is full of lush trees and has a diverse, interactable environment. With cliffside, streams, and trees, there will be a lot of content and platforming challenges for the player. The bottom area is the cave zone. In the cave, there are a lot of mushrooms and other earthly herbs to use for potions. The cave is the main area necessary for crafting spell tomes, as there are various harvestable resources and necessary ingredients for crafting them there. Parts of the caves are connected to some old abandoned mines that have some of the more rare magical crystals deep within. Spawn locations for the players are randomly generated. The player will either spawn in the cave zone or in the jungle zone, as the Sky Island is meant to be the late game area. The game will randomly select the spawn point for player 1 from 8 different available spots, 4 in each zone. Player 2 will then be placed at a spawn point on the other available zone, at the spot farthest away from player 1. The players can fight as early or as late as they like, but at 20 minutes into the match, the wizard will intervene. There are many possible game endings, none of which I'll go over for spoilers' sake. But past that, I outlined the target audiences, target platforms, setting and culture, art style, interfaces and user input, music and sound type, and generally just give a good outline of every little aspect of my game as I envision it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for my first devlog. I haven't done too much this first week, but I've set up a very good foundation for myself, and I think that I should be able to make a lot of progress this upcoming 2 weeks. So I will be posting devlogs every 2 weeks. Not every week, because these videos take a surprisingly long time to make. But, yeah, so I'm gonna post a devlog every 2 weeks, and see where this takes me. In general, I'm mostly just doing this because I feel like it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't really plan on making very much money on it, but I might end up posting this game onto the Steam store in the end of this, because I am putting like $50 into assets, because I plan to go way over budget, which is okay, I'm perfectly happy with doing that. I think that the fun of game development and making these YouTube videos is going to be perfectly worth that $50 that I'm spending. On top of that free voucher, so it'd be more like $100. But yeah, definitely, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this series, and I think that putting devlogs on the internet is going to push me to continue working on this project, and I shouldn't have any issues where like I'll get burnt out, because even if I don't do too much for the week, I still have these devlogs that I have to put together, because putting together these devlogs is actually pretty fun so far. So yeah, in general, I'm just excited to continue working on this. Wish me luck. Thanks for your support. Peace.